Monster of the Week time, but this is now the new world. We have our balance update. We have the Birthday Bash Monster Mash update, which includes new phobies, new maps, the balance changes, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to see who's on top of those changes. How fast can our players adapt, and who's going to take it down in Monster of the Week. Now, before we get into everything, of course, as always, I got to let you know that I get coffee for producing Phobies content. Who's providing that? It's, in fact, the devs Smoking Gun. So they are also providing the prizes for this event. That's right. You heard it. Prizes. If you're interested in playing in some Phobies tournaments, everything's set to level 1. We have our own rule sets. We got a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of fun. Hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that, of course, will be in the description of this video. Now by the like and subscribe button. Help me out. But now, let's get to those games. All right, we're looking at Monster of the Week 14, event number 1. We got Master Dark. We got Alien Engineer, both winners of past Monster of the Week. I was going to say Fright Night, but thinking about Fright Night because Fright Night 14 is also coming up. It's weird how those numbers keep lining up. Well, they were going to overlap at some point. One's a monthly event, one's a weekly event, but there's 8,000 coffee up for grabs in that tournament. This one's a little lower scale, smaller cap on the players. So we'll see what strategies people may be setting up potentially for a Fright Night run. Here we're seeing Master Dark open with Tooth Fairy, whereas Alien Engineer's going with a more traditional Gravedigger start. Definitely makes sense. I like the Gravedigger. However, that Tooth Fairy's kind of cute. Like that's a cool idea. I like it. This was available, of course, if you were going in the past, if you were going to do it with Murderwing. But Tooth Fairy's kind of like almost wholesale replaced it. Do we get Alien Engineer? More than happy to snipe the one key. This is a clean trade here, but I'm assuming what Alien Engineer's thinking is that there isn't going to be enough of a follow-up from Master Dark in order to clear everything out. Due to the Hevo, the Gravedigger, even if you take down the Cassowary, you're not killing the cat. So realistically, well, I guess you might be able to bees this. Do bees and Tooth Fairy clear out the Cassowary at the very least? Doesn't look like it because Master Dark elects instead to can't talk. Get rid of the cat, and we actually see a Daisy showing up. That's okay. Okay. So an early panic point lead here from our blue player. Jumping out ahead, 3-1. Of course, that's not going to stand for very long. However, it is kind of a big threat here. You can't just swing the Jin Sting up because the combination of 2 attacks from Hevo, 1 from Cassowary, and 1 from Gravedigger probably squishes those bees. So instead, all of the keys are going to get sunk into Evo 2.0, giving Alien Engineer an extended amount of pressure due to these panic points. Gravedigger, of course, reaping dividends, continuing to demolish the terrain. And oh, by the way, I didn't mention it earlier, but we did remove the Phobie bans because of the balance patch. That's why you're able to see a tractor here in Monster of the Week. Normally, it has been banned, but as of this moment for this event, there are no Phobies banned. Now, I am keeping track of the stats, trying to see how often a tractor is used, how often a tractor has won. We did see, based on the stats, that a good chunk of games both featured it and featured mirror matches. So we get Gonzo as the response from Master Dark. This is okay? Question mark? But the Ray Chargel's follow-up here, this doesn't... This looks like a tough spot for our orange player. Alright, so we're getting a boop here. I can appreciate that. We're doing this in order to prevent a re-engagement from Alien Engineer in order to try and push these panic points. But even despite this, it's still 3-2, so Alien Engineer's pressure continues. We're getting a Master Dark special here in Klopster as the follow-up. It's fine, but remember, everything at level 1 This is only 380 damage, so you're going to have to put in some work to actually eliminate something. Where's that work going to come from? Well, the newly nerfed Gonzo may be enough in order to provide that pressure. Now, since it is a big map, yeah, you lost, I don't know, 30, 40% of your health. But it's still a lot. You still have a lot of health. However, speaking of a lot, Alien Engineer has 15 keys and a lot of room thanks to that Gravedigger, whereas all of these obstacles are still here. And Master Dark pulling out plays from the old playbook, bringing out the Akira. Not a bad idea, to be honest. Not a bad idea, to be honest, but we'll see if it's enough. This is interesting from Alien Engineer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Speaking of newly changed Phobies, that's a Russell chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Phobies for our orange player. 1, 2, or blue player, excuse me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for our orange player. Master Dark is maxed
Russell!
out. Yeah, let's get the little Russell going. Chat is got it.
Russell!
So Alien Engineer set this up beautifully. The cassowary is enough of a threat that you can't just let it sit on top of your team. But it was an easy sacrifice compared to the remainder. And Alien Engineer's got the panic point advantage. They're shortly going to have the HP advantage because, guess what? Everything's poisoned. And they have the positional advantage because Master Dark's going to have to commit into them. And here we get a Raucous, which is going to further disrupt this Akira play. This is brutal. We're pulling everything in, but look at this. Everything from Master Dark has to commit in hard in order to actually get anything done. We're going to get this big old boop here. Boop. That's a dead attractor. Never even got a pull. We're going to get a dive by the Clopster. But unfortunately, the Daisy isn't able to participate. The Gonzo, of course, was too far back, and the Akira had to reposition itself. 3 keys to 3 keys remaining. And look at that poison take its toll. Kivo's going to die. Jinsting's going to die. Probably Clopster's going to die. And then I have to imagine Master Dark's hopes are dying as we speak. These Gravedigger plays. Russell coming in clutch. You'll love to see it. Eternal Night, chat. I don't think I've ever heard the Clopster death scream, but we just did. And understandably, Master Dark packs it in. GG, well played. Congratulations. All right, so now we're looking at Monster of the Week 14 Event 2. Yep, there are 3 events each week, all with coffee prizes. And we're looking at another Alien Engineer game. But we have a new person. This is Fred. I'm putting it the wrong way. That's Fredosaurus, who... Shout out to the name. That's amusing. It's amusing to me. Taking a page out of Potenzia's book with a little werewolf action here on Phobopolis, which I'm curious. I don't have the chat up in front of me. I'm curious which player chose this map because this is not very popular. People do not like this one. But we see some interesting starting strategies from Alien Engineer here. Like, most people try and get their lobbers online. They, of course, use 3 movers, get to the center point, back off, take your stuff. But this is, again, a Gravedigger opener. This time, breaking the way for Henrietta to start claiming points. Chuck and 3.0 owners love this map. I don't mind it, but I do have both those phobies, so maybe I'm biased. But we do settle into the lobber game plan. We have 2 for our orange player, 1 for our blue player. A little spud action. Shout out to them French fries. Also, shout out to Dr. Bushroot and Petunia. You're a Darkwing Duck fan, you know. If you know, you know. Personally, it feels overcrowded with obstacles. I mean, that is healthy, though. I've talked about it before, but I think it is good to have different types of maps to encourage different strategies. It may be extreme leaning in this far, but I think having this, Vile Vortis, The big house. Not always watching. Opticon. Those sort of maps where it's just, okay, this is a lobber map. Let's see who's better with lobbers. Like, I think that's okay for it to exist. There are challenges because of the acquisition model for Phobies. We always talk about how that's the biggest fault of Phobies is the economy. Nothing's perfect. But Alien Engineer here dropping out the old Chuck. Speaking of Chuck, seems pretty good on this map, but LOL. Somebody is about to get a taste of their own medicine. Somebody is about to learn the hard way. Now, Alien Engineer is not maxed out, but guess what? Chuck can't be healed, at least not through normal means. Lol. I love how as soon as you say there's a lobber map, Chuck comes out. Well, there might be an answer to the old Chucky boy. So it looks like Alien Engineer might be preparing for the Heebie-Jeebie special. Channel Point Redemption to come soon for that. I haven't quite gotten there, but Alien Engineer also notably not willing to sacrifice a 1 key yet. The Rusty's been hanging out on the board, the newly buffed Rusty, and honest to God, I love the new Rusty. It's great. But it's interesting that we haven't seen Alien Engineer push either 1 key. It looks like they're setting up for their more typical play of trying to go, I'm going to cap all the points simultaneously. So in this case, we're actually getting the Ray Chargels to come out to threaten this. You could get multiple hits here, and then the Hevo is going to back off. That's what I'd anticipate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Phobies out. Alien Engineer is locked, although the Rusty, of course, can sacrifice itself if our blue player, or excuse me, our orange player, offers something up. Well, maybe not, because now the Rusty's backing off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phobies for our Fredosaurus player. We'll go with that. Inoculus here seems odd. The thing is that 3 Rangers and you have a Terraform Phobie allow for some weird plays to happen because you can bend around corners and stuff. It's acceptable. I do like this Werewolf play to the north because with Werewolf... Now, Alien Engineer does have 11 keys. You did open up 2 slots. This is a little risky. But that's still almost 2,500 health. Like, that's a lot. You need help to make that happen. Now, in this case, we're going to get a little Hevo 2.0 action. The Russell doesn't seem to be having all that much of an impact because, again, Chuck is going to be able to leech it off. And as Chad is pointing out, before it even happened, little Paschetti action coming out, diseasing the Werewolf. It's a tough spot to be in. That good boy is going to have a bad day. So we're getting some pressure going down onto this Chuck. Little Bluelian, recently nerfed. Going for the double move here, of course, because otherwise you can't quite reach this via the burrow movement. But 1,800 health still. But remember, spas are a little bit worse now. Just a little bit worse. So we have multiple things threatening this Chuck. Significant amount of damage, even though it could life leech, unless you body block the... And there are lobbers, so you can't body block everything. There's a lot of damage represented against the Chucky boy here. There's still a lot of damage. I mean, Bluelian can go in. You got both lobbers that could go in, but I doubt our orange player is going to take that aggressive of a line. Hilariously enough, this Paschetti is going to live to blight someone another day. This is kind of cute. It is a small amount of poison, and if you spend 2 turns on the spa, you're netting health, kind of? Well, not really. I guess you are. Yes, you are, because you're only taking the disease damage on your turn. So it gets weird, because you're going to be able to heal this up to full eventually, and then while it's in the larger mode, you can get some advantages there. We'll see how this plays out. Chuck getting some pot shots, and once again, 4-1 panic point advantage for our blue player. Pretty close on heart health. And the poison's not quite enough to take down the Gravedigger, but Russell's going to come back up eventually. Remember, Pescetti is a dimensional. The boop on the Chuck. Not like this! Wow! Down goes the Chuck. Ah, yeah. Wow. A rare Alien Engineer mistake. And that's a dead Chuck. That's a big deal. That's not only 9 keys down, but arguably the biggest threat that Alien Engineer was presenting on the board. Now, Alien Engineer does still have 7 keys remaining. They have a panic point advantage. They do have some things in position. And it looks like we're going to lock Blulian into position. Rusty connecting. Aggressive push with Pescetti because our orange player is out of keys. Now, their team of 5 here, pretty tanky. Going to be tankier thanks to the spas. And, of course, Russell's still there. All 7 keys are invested into a mechanical. Got to dodge that Russell, despite the fact that you have Clinico out. It's still a big threat. The Caw. Only connecting with Pescetti, hilariously enough. Disease is up, so something is getting diseased here. Well, I imagine something's getting diseased. There's a chance that that does not happen. 3-2 panic point advantage. Blulian's pretty tanky, but we're whittling it down to size. Ooh. Okay, it was the disease. It looked like it was just the attack for a second. And I don't know why I thought that. But Pescetti is poisoned, taking an enormous amount of damage there, as you can see. Notably, Alien Engineer did not follow up. They instead elected to pull back, trying to preserve this Pescetti. They did have the opportunity to maybe push with the Mother Load, but that would have put it into range of the Ray Chargels. Bad things happen there. And down goes Pescetti. Russell actually getting an attack in. It's not long for this world, but remember, Russell is also dimensional, going to yoink something out of position. It's 4 Phobies to 5. Admittedly 4 very soon, but 4 Phobies to 4. We got the healers going at it. We got some lobbers going at it. But we do have an electrical available for our orange player. That might be enough to try and flip this. Take control of this game entirely. 700 damage. A cool 700 damage going down. Klepto following it up. This is kind of bold until you realize the boop is live. Now those Phobies have taken a significant amount of damage. Hevo less so, obviously. But a decent amount of damage. The Clinico is still going to be on cooldown. An Alien Engineer is on the ropes. Panic point advantage orange. Is Fredosaurus going to go for the throat? Nope. We're going to play it a little more defensively. I can absolutely understand. You do run the risk of Alien Engineer just eventually, because it's only a 1-0 panic point advantage, essentially. You do run the risk of that Clinico coming back online, healing everything up, and then all of a sudden they can recommit. But you do have buttons to press also. If they wait too long, guess what? Hevo's back up. The Spa is going to be back up from Blulian like we're seeing now. And it's really hard to commit onto a Blulian. You're going to need an enormous amount of damage, which Hevo can't really provide. This is not lethal, or shouldn't be. Maybe it is if you Mother Load, which I think is what Alien Engineer's setting up for. We're going to get the Mother Load, because remember... Oh no, we're going to get the regular attack. Down goes Blulian, but now you have an electrical there. You got double hits from the Klepto, a hit from the Hevo as well if you want it. I feel like this could have been done slightly differently, but I don't know that it matters. All of a sudden, it's Innocuous and Clinico versus a very healthy and very scary orange team. GG. Alien Engineer goes down. Congrats. We're joining this pretty late. Joining us pretty late, checking all the other games, and making sure the other players for this third event are up and running. So we're here on the Big House, which is an interesting choice. One of the original I think it literally was in the very first rotation for Phobies. But we got Kuro, we got Mechode squaring off in round one, and we do have a newer Phobie in Giggles, but also a newer Phobie, Mechode. I mean, this is their thing now, right? We talked about players that have signature Phobies, that this is their game plan. They do this every game. They make it work, and they make it look awesome. And apparently, Mechode is Misanthrope. Shout out to Misanthrope. I actually really think Misanthrope is hilarious. I think Misanthrope is hilarious. Misanthropy is generally the hatred, dislike, distrust, or contempt of the human species and or human nature. Yeah, I guess that's me. My signature is either Radiator or Tick after the buff. Ooh, a little tick action. I haven't seen a tick yet, but I imagine it's going to be super obnoxious to deal with. Whoa, that's a Zappy. How is Kuro going to respond to this? Now, Giggles puts out a lot of damage, but it is mechanical. It is mechanical. Also, this Electrocat seemingly just whooped the crap out of Misanthrope. Panic Point advantage orange. Since we're joining a little late, just got to check on things. Oh, I'm getting pings in Discord chat. All right, the other games look like they're underway. Just got to get some admin stuff squared away. I apologize that the sound is not going to be there. All right, I think we're good there. Like I said, just got to get things squared away. So softening up of the old Henrietta here. Then, of course, we get the innocuous follow-up. I mean, who could have possibly seen this coming? Tick has been surprisingly amazing, no matter if it diseases or not. The damage is always useful. I mean, that seems completely reasonable. Chat, don't get too excited now. You need to calm down. And I'm glad you didn't get excited, because that bloat is not happening. And I kind of agree with Mechode here. Like, I don't know about that one. It's bloat. I think I'm actually going to use that sound clip and make it a channel point redemption chat. We get a Electrocat and a little boomage here. The Misanthrope going to sacrifice its life, most likely. The only question is how. I'm not going to lie, I don't love this positioning from Mechode. I tend to enjoy aggressive setups, but I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, you're losing a lot there. Like, that's 5 keys and a significant amount of board position. I never noticed Electrocat had more HP than Razormouth. It does, in fact. 20 more. 100 less base damage, though. So definitely matters. This is why, like, so there's a number of ways that Mechode could turn around to clear this, but this is only 550. Blinky is 1600 health. You're going to have to get through the Blinky. Kuro has a big, thick line of stuff. And, like, that's not even enough. That's so brutal. How much does this do? Ooh, we get a little muffin action. So the boom does 500. Okay, I was going to say, if the boom did 600 and the 20 health over Razormouth is what kept it alive, I would have lost it. I would have lost it, chat. It would have been ridiculous. But this is a really tough position to be in for Mechode. I don't love the boomer. I'll be honest, I, honest to God, don't have any idea what the response is here that's going to work. This isn't terrible, I guess. So you're taking 450, that's 1,000, 1,400. So they can't kill the Zappy. It's not possible for them to kill the Zappy. The problem is this is a dead Electrocat, and you're losing even more board position. This is rough. This is a rough spot to be in. You don't love this one. Not as our blue player. Oh, the muffin too. It's not the way you wanted this to go. Honestly, I don't hate a lot of the strategic. We were talking about this earlier. The difference between strategic and tactical choices. I don't hate the strategic choices. Like, I don't, like, hate them. I don't love some of them. But the tactical choices here just kind of led to Meko hemorrhaging board position. Left and right, it seemed like. Like, if you lose all your entire board and then it's just Zappy, some mistakes were made. Right? Yo, it's bad side. And a little rusty action. Is this going to get Meko'd back in? I don't know. Making some notes here, chat. Got a little bad side. Bad side is cool, and I do appreciate. I mean, I've been playing with the volume turned up a little bit more, so I am noticing a few more sound effects. Like bad side has a cool sound effect when it comes out as a flatline noise. And there are a number of other phobies that I'm like, man, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. But my guess is if you're Meko'd, you don't really like this board position. I don't really like the rusty here. I don't know what this was. What is this doing right now? At this stage, Kuro probably has at least 2 traps on the board, maybe 3. There's no way for you to kill this thing unless you pop out a jar, even with the buff damage, at least from this position. So this is the final phobie for our blue player. By the way, you may not have noticed, but there's still 7 keys left for Kuro. Kuro has a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. You could argue a phobie quality advantage. I don't hate the idea of the bad side because an undead here means that at least it's self-regenerating to a degree. Realistically, that's not going to happen, but you somehow have to commit into an entrenched Inoculus and then more turret follow-up. Like, this is a huge amount of turrets. You do have the Zappy, but, like, the Zappy's going to get got. But the newly buffed Flush Crawler, chat. Let's go. I guess. I mean, I'll be honest. Even if Kuro didn't have 7 more keys, I don't want to call it early, but I feel like Kuro's got this one, even with that. See, like, this is a play you can kind of make with the undead because, okay, then you can push in and try and heal with some damage. The problem is you have 2 turrets. Your positioning is going to get really awkward with these corridors. And odds are there's a trap in one of these spaces in between Inoculus and Zappy. And then the bad side's going to step on it after it gets hit by this. And it's just, yeah. This Raid Brute Worst is right around the corner. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. It is Phobies, after all. Little repositioning here from Kuro. Our blue player down to 2,600 health. It's getting there. It's getting there. This is part of the reason that I'd love to add best 2 of 3 to Monster of the Week, but realistically, in order to keep the event from running as long as Fright Night, that's just not feasible. All right, looks like getting in there. Oh, no. Oh, no. Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, admittedly, then it's Rusty, Bad Side, Zappy versus Innocuous, Giggles, Flesh Crawler, so maybe? I feel like this... Oh, the Flesh Crawler can't kill it unless it tentacles directly. Wow, okay. But is this Bad Side just dead? Bad Side's just dead. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Never mind. Tentacles. Notably, doesn't kill Rusty, but now it's Zappy and Rusty versus the world. Get the Rusty activation, because why not? Do get the takedown here. Don't get the takedown here. Okay, we do get the takedown. Undoing a little bit. I don't know what Meko does here. Because if you try and chase to kill either of these, which you do have to walk into range, because you're not going to just get them with the Reflect, the Flesh Crawler eats you alive. Honestly, you could just walk everything into range and just ball on top of this Zappy, and that would be the ball game. Zappy running for its life. 1,600 health left on this heart. Heart anxiety. It's getting pretty anxious there, chat. It's getting pretty anxious. Looks like Meko accepting the inevitable, or not. Never mind. I don't know what's happening. All right. The inevitable has been accepted. I think you can literally kill it now. 600 damage from Giggles. 2 hits from the Innocuous. You're not going to die to the Reflect. And even if you did... Tentacles. GG. Game to Koro. Very well played. Some cool stuff going on. But ultimately, orange player takes it. Getting into one of the other games real quick. We're here on Hall of Mirrors. That's an oopsie baby on the board. Very few casualties so far, but we also have a Poison Ivy. Very interesting. Getting a Clinico coming out in order to heal up this bow. Probably needed, given that, yeah, this bow is going to take a beating, or would have taken a beating if it would have meant a takedown. Instead, we're just going to get an eliminated cat, possibly a Tickles as well. Gonna have to also get a repositioning from this jar. Ooh, we're not. That seems incorrect, unless you had to do that? No, that was a cat, wasn't it? Yeah, you didn't have to do that. You did not need the double hit, so this means that's a dead jar. Okay, so I think the setup here from our blue player is a bait. Trying to get our orange player to commit, maybe land on a trap, and then you cupcake to blow up their advance. But honestly, from this position, we have the power down available. Ooh, we're just going for the kill here. That's not going to be enough unless you have a jar. Jar won't do it. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Sorry. I was thinking about the vault being in a different position, which it clearly is not. That's a dead Poison Ivy. This, yeah. This is... It's a rough start. It's a rough start if you're a blue player. I know I was saying anything is possible, but... Oh, no. Oof. Yikes, even. 60 health remaining despite the newly nerfed cupcake. You hate to see it. 4 keys available. There are a bunch of options for our blue player that could come out to ultimately finish this, but remember, this is in range. This will be in range. Hell, this could be in range, depending on what our blue player puts on the board. That's tough. They're electing to go with Murder Wing. I can't say that I love it unless you're going to body block with something, because now both die, question mark? Nah, probably not, because you only get one hit from Jar, but you do get the snipe with the Oopsie Baby, the newly buffed Oopsie Baby, doing more damage. And once again, it's Corn versus the world. I mean, I do love corn and corn-based products, but apparently Unicorn. Newly nerfed Unicorn, although admittedly it is the traps that it was not the damage, but 360 damage. Remember, everything's at level 1 here. This is a tough spot. Since we were watching the other game, we didn't see the beginning of this one, so we don't know where the other potential traps are. It is possible that maybe Corn somehow got a trap here, but it's extremely unlikely. Point is that this Jar could hypothetically swing down here, depending on what blue player's response is. They're going to go with Slayer. Yeah, I don't really agree with that one. I don't know that I agree with hiding Corn in the corner. I don't think that one's really going to work out very well for you. Oh, no. Not like this. Not like this! That may or may not have been intentional, but either way, we're getting Oopsie Baby to the bottom. By the way, Oopsie Baby can now cover the vault. That's not what you want to see as our blue player. Clinico ready to heal again also. Yeah, I don't want to... Again, I don't like calling them too early, but I don't think this is calling it too early. Final keys being spent on Tooth Fairy. There was a trap here. How the hell did that happen? Only Cupcake. There were no other healers. So that means that the Unicorn was where the... Oh, no. You know what it might have been? It might have been a Poison Ivy trap. It was a Poison Ivy trap. I mentioned this last night, but if you watch carefully, Oopsie Baby's head is not filled with bugs. Oopsie Baby's head is made of bugs. If you watch it reform, the bugs become the head again. It is one of the creepiest things in a game full of creepy things. Very intentionally creepy things. But we do get a power down, reducing the Corn to 10 damage. Oopsie Baby putting in work. Oopsie Baby's pretty good, chat. I thought it was good pre-buff. Oopsie Baby's pretty good. GG. Game, A mark, and well played. All right, we're getting in close to the beginning. Oh, and we're starting off spicy. We got some we got some tick action. We're gonna put a little limelight. Shine the limelight here onto the game. Kuro and Alien facing off here on Hold Still. Now, since we were able to get in early on, because there are some really close, like very interesting games going on. Let's see, whose map was this? Kuro chose Hold Still, so we'll see. Kuro might have something up their sleeve. We did see this earlier from Alien Engineer versus Master Dark on this very map with Alien Engineer going second. Have this opener, Gravedigger Cat, Cassowary. Honest to God, I think I've seen Tick in play once, so I don't know what the animations look like that, but its scuttling is super unsettling. We did see a similar opener from Master Dark in a losing effort against Alien Engineer earlier on. Slightly different wrinkles, including, obviously, Tick. Alien Engineer is going to be hard-pressed to have to play around this, but is Kuro going to get caught by the Russell as Master Dark did? I'll have to see. Now, Tick is a newly buffed Phobie. 2 movement range, whereas previously it was 1-1. 1 move, 1 melee. Now it's 2 move, 1 melee. As opposed to 3 melee. Whatever. You get the idea. This, it seems to be Alien Engineer's standard build, because all of this is what we saw before. How aggressive is Kuro going to be? Oh, the tick moves so fast. It is so creepy. Like, I get that these are supposed to be, like, bacteria inside it or something, but, like, yeah. Tick is so unsettling. Tick has become pretty good now. Tick seems really good. This is why when people were talking about Collector or Brute Worst being bad, and they're like, oh, just give it 2 movement. And I'm like, yeah, but that is a big deal. Tick went from unplayable to arguably a premier phobie. Like, it's a very solid phobie. Now, there's an argument also that if it isn't overpowered, then yeah, buff it. I don't know. I'm always leery about giving movement to things. Admittedly, it's not going to 3 movement or 3 range. That 3 number is way bigger than 2. I know it's only 1. Yes, it's bigger. Thank you, mathematicians out there. But 3 is way bigger than 2. It's a big deal. Similarly, 2 is way bigger than 1 in this game when you're talking about movement or range. All right, things are slowing down just a little bit as players are bringing in, well, Furrow's matching the Hevo, but we're bringing in a little bow mangles action. Both players preserving their 1 keys, neither player wanting to commit to the middle because, of course, that means the death of their 1 key and the replacement by their opponents. 7 keys banked for each player. Is Kuro going to commit to something big here, or are we going even bigger? Whoa. This is not a kill. This is just an aggressive push. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I didn't see this one coming. So, really? Kuro, you madman. What is... We got a little Mr. Tramples action. So that's a Hevo at 850 health with, like, a lot of phobies in their face. Now, this Gravedigger, instead of getting involved because it would eat up the surface area, is opening up more room for this. The tick is a monster. It's not dimensional, even though, you know, the purple from the disease might kind of throw you off mentally. It is a monster, so we're not going to get a displacement from this if one of these dies, and there should be enough damage to take down the tick. Maybe there isn't. No, this is 1,300 health. This is only 700. This is a pretty tanky invasion force, but we get Motherload, which is becoming... I mean, Alien Engineer just picks these phobies. A long time ago, it was Brony. We've had a bunch of them show up in between, but as of late, it's been Motherload, and that's kind of a big threat here. Interestingly enough, on a map that often features Heartbreakers and Akiras and Spiders and Octonauties, and nobody's going displacement. There's no displacement to be seen. Motherload getting traded out for a Klepto and a 1 key. Notably, the invasion force from Kuro cost our blue player their 1 key. So that means that either Cat or Cowbell can pull the usual Alien Engineer play of trying to invade, probably take the middle, maybe take the top panic point, the one behind Tooth Fairy. It all depends on what Kuro's turn here is. Now, to be honest, this is 250 damage. It's not that much. The disease isn't going to matter, but it is an AoE. That hit a lot of things. Like, that's 1,000 damage. It's spread across multiple phobies, so it isn't always as exciting. All right, so we get the takedown here. This could be Tooth Fairy or Hevo taking the point, setting up some additional damage. Like, I don't like this. Really? This can't possibly be the best play Kuro has available. Oh, the big undo. It's a little scary. Given the positioning from Alien Engineer, it's actually tough to get a good Mr. Tramples hit here. But we're getting the setup. Multiple phobies threatening the middle, but that's not going to matter. One of these is going to die. Jin staying as the follow-up, banking 1 key. So the issue with the previous set of plays that I had is, like, you're trading Tick for a 1 key, which admittedly Tick has now lost a fair amount of value, but you would have, at least with the first set, you would have killed... Like, I think you could kill the Cat and the Hevo. You'd have to commit the Mr. Tramples, and maybe you lose the tramples on the counterattack. Yeah, you almost assuredly lose the tramples because it probably ends up here in between the Gravedigger and the Cowbell. And then that would be in range of the Vault. But you would disease the Klepto in the process, meaning that it would be a slow death, but it would get there eventually. So instead, we're playing a little more defensively. The main thing is I just didn't like the commit from the tick and not getting more than just the 1 key. But I think you would have... Like, you end up maybe losing 10 keys in that scenario if you commit. So unless Koro specifically has a 6 key or next turn has a much larger key that they wanted to put on the board, I would have liked to have seen a 1 key come down. And even if you wanted, say, a 9 key next turn, you could have put the 1 key on the board last turn and then try and fight for this middle panic point. We're going to get a puff going. There's some very interesting phobies coming out from Koro here. This is... The tension here is very interesting because on one hand, Alien Engineer does not want to cluster up because then the tick gets a good hit. Admittedly, a bunch of them are mechs, but it is what it is. But at the same time, Alien Engineer has to also simultaneously reposition to not get hit with that fiery blom. Meaning that you can't group up, you can't line up unless it's like a vertical line. This is going to be interesting. Now, Alien Engineer can set up that vertical line, set up even a concave, and probably be pretty safe. So we'll see how Koro tries to force the issue here. By the way, there's still that Mr. Tramples, which could go 1, 2, 3 to the panic point and just plow through these two. Like, that is a play. I mean, it could do it from multiple places. It could even hit the Klepto if it really wanted to. I think that'll work. I haven't actually used Mr. Trample, so I don't know how the targeting will function. There are some pushes that Alien Engineer could make. The Gravedigger's slightly ill-positioned. If it was where Klepto was, then this turn it could have come in and maybe a little heebie-jeebie special going on. So we do have a Blom onto the heart here. I don't know if that's really worth. However, 1, 2, 3. Okay, no. Never mind. The Clinico blocks out the Mr. Tramples from connecting onto the Klepto. Otherwise, it is possible that there was kill potential onto the Klepto, like a hard commit. But I don't love the tick positioning here from Koro. It is effectively not in the game here. It seems like it's really close to the battle, but it's not because it can't connect with anything. So it's going to have to move in and then connect, meaning it's a couple turns away from doing anything of value. And clearly, Alien Engineer, being as strong a player as they are, will have the opportunity to react. So we are getting that single line, getting the conga line, diagonal conga line here, going from Cassowary to Cowbell in order to both avoid the puff as well as avoid some bull rush shenanigans. No bull here, chat. Impossible. So, how does Koro play this? 10 keys to, oh, by the way, 17 keys remaining for Alien Engineer. This is the Alien Engineer setup. They always do this. But speaking of setup, 3, 7. There's 7 phobies on the board. Personally, I think Koro's going to need to slide the puff to the south to try and eliminate this particular play so that Alien Engineer is pressed to either back off entirely or commit forward, thereby allowing Tick and or Mr. Tramples to try and collapse on the team. Now, Koro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phobies, 10 keys available. I wouldn't, like, you can't rustle here. There's 4 mechs, one of which is Clinico. Even if this was a different 1 key, it's like, all right, it's a 1 key. And it frees up the 17 keys for Alien Engineer to commit. I think going with one singularly large phobia is very dangerous. What Koro needs to do is either flip the panic points safely, thereby forcing Alien Engineer to commit. They don't really have to commit much. They're just going to send in the Cowbell and then again free up the 17 keys. Or they need to threaten like a serious hard push or big collapse on multiple phobies. You need to get a ton of value out of things. This might be the way to do it. The newly nerfed Akira 2-turn warm-up, but I think Alien Engineer's best play is, yeah, do this. This is, unfortunately, Koro missed this one, or maybe they allowed for it, but this is a 4-to-1 panic point advantage, which will put a lot of pressure on Koro. And the second that Koro decides to open that up, you're in for a bad time. Because the 17 keys are going to come pouring out. We once again saw this with Master Dark earlier, where the Akira was answered by a Russell. Koro only has 1 key remaining, can't get a Clinico on the board, so you're going to be stuck with a Muffin for heals and what you have on the board for damage. Now, Alien Engineer is, in fact, spreading out. There's a world in which maybe you can snipe this being the bow. The reason why that would be valuable is maybe you could just threaten a heart push, but you are racing a pretty serious clock. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you Blom here. That does more damage. It does 25 more damage. I don't understand why some of these attacks or abilities have, like, a random little bit of extra damage. Yeah, you have to directly target the cassowary in order to kill it. Even then, you don't. This smells like desperation to me. I don't love this. Because, like, this is dead, or should... Well, this is 8, 16, 1650. Okay, so this is not dead. All right. Tick there isn't bad. I was going to say Akira might be worth sending there. Obviously, he's banking for Brute Worst Gang. The right isn't on the wall. I missed that. I don't know how long ago that comment was, but we do get the Akira here. There are some Akira plays available. Not just stemming the bleeding, but in fact making it so that there is no bleeding. This might be a dead puff. That's 8. 11, 16? No, not quite. Actually, wait, yeah, it is. Never mind. In my head, even though I clicked on it, in my head it was 1,700 health, but it's actually 1,600 health. Alien Engineer may be able to kill this puff if they want it, because Double Bow Mangle plus Gravedigger plus Kivo. It doesn't look like they're going for that. They're just going to soften up the rest of the team. And by soften up, I mean just straight up eliminate the Hevo. This is the big issue. You don't really have time to, like, you can't race by just laying into the heart. It has 7,000 health left. You're not going to kill it that fast. But you simultaneously can't kill their team now, because even if you eliminate a lot of it, they're not that weak, and they're going to have 17 keys to reinforce. So, like, you do get some splash here. Like, regular Akira attacks are still a thing. Oh, no. Oh, no. A little more splash. I mean, I don't hate it. That's not enough damage. You have to sink, like, a weird amount, an uncomfortable amount of damage from these attacks in, because the Tooth Fairy has to interact. See, what I think you do... How much does this do? 550? Why did this not end up next to the Bow Mangles? Because I was going to say you Bull Rush through, then you hit the bow with the Mr. Tramples, and then use, like, Tooth Fairy and Jin Sting to kill the Klepto, if that was possible. This isn't impossible to do, but this is going to be really, really tough. You do have 6 attacks in range, 8 attacks. But I mean, that, once again, 4-1. There's going to be 17 keep. All right. That might be a ball game. I don't think there's any way you can possibly kill the Brony in time. Like, I just don't think you can burn it down fast enough, let alone... That's a high 5! And Haffy, by the way. Which there is an AoE Phobies, so, like, I get it. But 2,000 health is a lot. This is 550. That's 8, 950, 12, 13. You maybe get 1,500 damage. And that's it. However, you could possibly try and play defense as Kuro here if you, like, hard rotate back. Like, you need to kill this, recap this point, kill this, and then everything else just hauls ass back to the heart. Because then you could hypothetically spread out. Do you have enough damage to get the Brony, then? You used Bull Rush, so I don't think so. This was a good heads-up play, because this allows the Henrietta to stabilize a little bit. Alright, real talk, you kind of need to kill the Haffy now. So I believe the heart will function as an obstacle as far as Brony's concerned. Like a true obstacle, so you will not be able to Brony through it. So that means that, like, Mr. Trample's behind the heart here would hypothetically be safe. This is a lot of math, and Kuro's going to have to do it very, very quickly to try and make this happen. Oh, no. I mean, that's dead, yes. Okay. Okay. So we didn't get the AoE on Haffy due to the undos. Brony can go in between Haffy and the heart or to this point, which turns off all but the Henrietta. That is just the game, right? Like, that's just literally the game. The Akira pull is down. That's 900 damage a turn. So this is an interesting play. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I get the Bull Rush repositioning. So the Bull Rush is repositioning to ensure that Panic Point doesn't go to Alien Engineer. Well, we're doing the bottom one. The Akira will body block this one. Okay, so the only difference with this line that I would say, oh, we're doing it this way. Okay. So there's a couple different ways you could take this. One, you could keep the Tooth Fairy pinned to the high 5. The reason being is it'll displace it, pull it away, but realistically, Alien Engineer could walk it around. The other option is you could also move the Puff back in, because while it won't do any damage, it will apply fire. Realistically, none of those really matter. I don't know what the purpose of this is. $35. I didn't see how much damage. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's 2,000 a turn. So Alien Engineer is dead in 2 turns. are you throwing? Is this a throw? Chad, is this a throw? This is going to get so weird. Oh, Koro, you're undoing so late in the turn. You're undoing so late in the turn. So the puff is available to move because there's nothing, like, you're not in range of anything. Like, nothing matters there. But all the other panic points are hypothetically available to, like, the Brony reclaiming them, or the half he could get to some of them. But, like, at this stage, that's only 1,800 damage. Another 200 from this puts it at 1,600, because remember, Halfy is not activated. And by the way, the Brony wore off. The Brony wore off. Chat. Is Brony High Five going down? Is Akira still reigning supreme? Or is it just simply Mr. Tramples carrying the day? Or really, it was all thanks to Tick, right? It was all thanks to Tick. That's how you fight Brony? Yeah. The math was definitely, like, I thought Koro was going to throw and, like, open up a bunch of panic points so that Alien Engineer could recap the panic points and then High Five still pummeling the heart and then, like, but, oh, man, some Galaxy Brain plays in this game. Well done. Well played. GG. And here we are, chat. After Koro's upset of Alien Engineer, not to knock Koro in any way, shape, or form, but I think most people probably would have expected Alien Engineer to take it. Koro's facing off against A. Markand here on Hall of Mirrors. This is going to be very interesting. We did watch A. Markand earlier put Oopsie Baby to, or use Oopsie Baby to great effect. Oopsie Baby just took over the game, it appeared, at least by the time that we got into it. I can only assume that he was doing that before then. We'll see if the same strategy holds. Now, Koro is going 1-1, presumably into everyone's favorite 4-drop Sentinel, and that's going to be Innocuous. Well, favorite, maybe not right. Maybe not the correct term. Maybe not the most accurate term in this particular instance, but we'll see how A. Markand plays this one. Going 1-3, we got a little cowbell Bowmangles. Creepy Clown. Not as creepy as Giggles. Well, he might be more creepy than Giggles. What do you think, chat? Who's creepier, Bowmangles or Giggles? I like Giggles more, so I'm going to say Bow. Ooh. Not the Innocuous, at least not just yet. We're getting a different turret. We're getting a little Corn action. The Corn is not going to be in range at the moment in order to threaten the cowbell or the bow. I could see a world in which the 1 keys are repositioned in order to possibly threaten both panic points, at least from a damage perspective, because at 650, you don't have quite enough damage, but the Corn could slide north or south. So if you reposition the 1 keys, that means the 3 of them can collapse, remove that from the board. If that matters, odds are you'll end up losing a 1 key in retaliation. So do you care? I don't know. We'll see. However, double hits plus Corn probably means this is a dead cowbell. A. Markand, of course, is going to know that. Let's see how they respond. Koro is banked to 5. A. Markand says, I see your 5, and I raise you to 6. Leaving the panic point advantage in our blue player's hands. So, what's the response here? What is this ping in Discord? It's not related to the event, so I don't care. I'm actually going to clear it because I'm going to keep thinking that there's a ping from one of the other matches or something. The plight of the tournament organizer. We're getting a bank to 8 and a bank to 9, respectively. Both players said 20 minutes, no rush. Big game hunters. A Markin with the amazing Brute play, baby. Come on, we'll see. All right, Kuro. Kuro, the quick learner. Picking up quick on the strategery from A Markin. Dropping a little oopsie baby action. I have to wonder if A Markin's a little frustrated because I can only assume their game plan was very similar. Now, Kuro, of course, one key behind. Oh, a couple keys behind, I guess. Going first. One key behind overall, but this didn't really work out because it's actually 4-2 right now. It'll be 4-5. I guess okay, yeah, it did work out. 4-5. There you go. One key behind. Whatever. All of that to say that A Markin has one more key than Kuro. Oopsie baby staring each other down. Oopsie mirror. I think they both made an oopsie because this is going to get dumb fast. Now, here's the big thing. You could charge in as one player or the other and power down the opposing oopsie, but the defender will get the first hit and, of course, can power down your oopsie. So I don't think either one of them is going to want to go in. This doesn't really do anything. Honestly, the oopsie was probably better where the corn is. The reason being is that it can cover all 3 points from that position. It cannot from the other one. The only advantage for this, I guess, is... I don't even know what the advantage is. Ooh. Kuro digging deep into the bag of tricks, the vault of tricks, as it were. My nose is so itchy, chat. I don't know why. It's actually bothering me. We get a snappy. My schnoz issues aside. Just don't flip me over, please. Ooh, that's a dead cat. That's a pretty good pickup here. We don't have a great way to eliminate this because, again, 3 turrets, 3 one-movers here, and the jar is a big deal because this is a very tiny map. It's very claustrophobic. The 3 rangers, this is why Oopsie Baby is so good here. It covers so much area, but now A Markin has the advantage of 2 3 rangers, at least one of which is not going to get powered down. You have to imagine the Oopsie Baby is going to return the favor, power down its enemy in crime. I don't know, that doesn't really sound the way I wanted it to. We are going to get the power down here, going down to a meager 50 damage, but the jar is still in range, and hilariously, this apparently is not enough damage to kill this damn thing. How is that not the case? What did you target? Oh, you hit the Oopsie Baby. You hit the Oopsie Baby, so there's a world in which there's an invade onto the corn. All right, we're getting a jar. That does not finish off the cowbell. It wouldn't be able to at level 1. It instead is chipping down the Oopsie Baby. That's interesting. All right, okay. I have to imagine neither player has practiced this particular scenario very often. Or maybe I haven't played Hall of Mirrors. You tell me, chat. Is this the meta on Hall of Mirrors? Because, I don't know. Yeah, so we're getting the invade. Cowbell, Bone Mangles, and Jar are going to spell the demise of the corn. The power down on Kuro will wear off first. Oopsie Baby, of course, going to probably have to retreat here. Yep. There's a world in which Snappy here does invade. I don't think it's this one, only because Snappy is the damage dealer right now. There really is no other damage output for our blue player, but we're getting a cat body block. This is not great if you're Kuro. Still that trap, I guess. I mean, that'll do it. So Jar will clean up this. Snappy's going to have its choice of targets. I assume the 2 1 keys go down. And a little bit of chip here onto Bow. Ooh, double hit onto Bow. Yeah, this can clean up. No, it can't. This is only going to do 100 damage. Remember the power down. 530, that's still a lot of damage. 6 keys total to 10. So we do get the takedown here. So the big key differential here is the snappy. Otherwise, we're mostly looking at the same stuff. 2 keys dead versus 3 keys dead. Like, this is just super weird. I'm not going to lie. I don't know about Haffy here. I also don't know about the positioning for Haffy. I think I would have liked to have seen Haffy be in between to force an interaction between Bo and whatever. Like, if it was going to try and hit Snappy. Ultimately, that's irrelevant. However, this should be a dead Bo Mangles. You get the invade from Haffy. You have now the unpowered down Oopsie. You have the Snappy. You have the Jar. Like, there has to be enough damage here. Honestly, I was thinking A. Markin was in a pretty good spot, but all of a sudden, like, this is a beat-up Oopsie. The Oopsie took more damage than I guess I had recalled, but we do get a Clinico. Honestly, I feel like Clinico's been showing up a lot more as of late than we've seen in the past. He gets a lot of value. The panic point advantage that had been in Kuro's favor for a while has been chipping away. 3,600 health to 6k. Almost half. Ooh, is the Haffy? The Haffy has to die here. You're not just doing this. That is, in fact, a dead Haffy. I imagine Kuro's Haffy is backing off as well. Hey, what is happening here? Oh, we're just doing this for the full reposition because you need to be able to get the Oopsie in place. So that's 2 keys incinerated. A mark and maybe a slight error there. If you were going to send something in to die, you might as well send in a 1 key. So 4 keys to 4 keys. Remember, A mark in 1 second. Of course, they have 1 extra key, 4 to 5. And we have a very even game on our hands, chat. Chip damage going down onto... That can't be right. Yeah, I was about to say, like, that can't be right. Even if it's just these two, that's a dead Jar. Both players with 1 spot open, so they can utilize their keys if they need to right now. The question is A Markin going to try and commit something big to the board? Is it going to be something small, multiple something small? This is where the game is going to be decided the next few turns, because up to this point, it's been very, very even, of course. I have to imagine A. Markin didn't anticipate the Haffy dying. 1,500 health is a lot, but there were a lot of things in range. It could honestly come down to who gets a more successful power down in order to facilitate an invade. Because, yeah, it's nice and all. It's like, all right, I power down your Oopsie baby, but... Now they're both out of each other's ranges. It's going to be difficult to get to them. The big question is going to be, can you instead set something up to power down their team so that you can commit onto them and eliminate some stuff? Or are we going to continue the staring match? Even panic points mean this could be a long one. But Kuro breaking the stalemate, bringing out a little Daisy. It is late in the game. There aren't going to be too many more Phobies. Resurrect can be incredibly powerful at this point in the game. So I have to imagine A. Markin sees the bait that's here. There's a lot of bait in order to try and... All right, we're getting the power down here. We're not getting the power down here. So the bait would be to try and get this Jar to commit up and then try and collapse on it with, like, either this or this and then finish it off with Jar. Woolly Bully, we're getting double power down? Whoa, I'll tell you right now, this is not what I expected to come out of the vault. We get a little Woolly Bully action. Little Woolly Bully. Now, the long game, for the most part, the longer this game goes on, if Kuro doesn't explicitly remove a game piece from the board, if you don't straight up murk something, then A Markin's going to be able to heal it up with Clinico. It's going to produce a number of challenges for our blue player. But that is going to be a difficult order to fill. I mean, there is damage represented on the board. We're going to get a 4-0 panic point advantage. Kuro says, you need to fight me. Come at me, bro. No fear of the poison tiles, which honestly, at 200 poison a turn, it's an undead. It has 1 billion health. This thing is here to stay for, well, a couple turns at least. And remember, Woolly Bully does... I didn't realize this thing did so little damage. Like, I kind of forgot how little damage this thing does. It is almost embarrassing. Bowmangle's taking a beating. It's going to require a lot of Phobies shuffling in order. Like, this is a super awkward position because you really need that Oopsie Baby to get the hell out of there. Because you want the Clinico to heal here, but then the jar has to move, and you gotta do like 90 things. Ooh, A Markin going for the takedown here. Power down here. Down to 50 damage. But that's, again, a 4-0 panic point advantage. You just can't interact with anything right now. I don't think that's where you want that. I don't think that's where you want that because this is going to be able to hit it, and Jar can hit it twice, and this can hit it twice. That's going to be 8, 12, 13. Oh, run out of time. I mean, honestly, Daisy probably heals this damage off. I think I would have rather have seen a reposition from the Oopsie, maybe. Like, the 50 damage is kind of meaningless. You will be able to cap this top panic point. So you move the bow onto the poison tile, you move the Clinico up, heal the bow then continues on its merry way to the top panic point. Then everything else collapses on Haffy. And you hope that you can kill it? I don't think you can, though. Oh, wow! Is this a dead Clinico? Haffy with the takedown! Oh my god! Here's the big issue. That's 2k health. This is a 4-0 panic point advantage. A Markin must kill everything this turn. You must kill everything this turn because you're not going to be able to body block out. You're not going to be able to do all this stuff. Alright, takedown number 1. Maybe? Like, you could body block with the Oopsie Baby to keep them from coming in, but I don't know that that's enough. I think Kuro's got this. Oh no, the timer's running low. I think Kuro's got it. I believe Kuro has got it, chat. 800 health left on the heart. Wait, what? Couldn't you just punch the heart and end the game this turn? This might be lethal anyway. This is 4 turns of Haffy attacks. Honest to God, this might be a throw. Isn't there another attack left? Okay, I was going to say. No, this is not a throw because you can't kill this. I thought A Markin had a kill here. How do you not have a kill here? No! Why would you power down here? Just kill it. No, the double, like, am I missing something? Could you not have just killed this thing? It has 380 health. Why? That did. What am I missing? Like that, I have to be missing something, right? Am I trolling, chat? Am I being trolled? That was absolutely wild. Those games. This was an incredible Monster of the Week, chat. This was incredible Monster of the Week. But congratulations, Horo. Very well played by everybody. Great, spectacular games. But that's going to do it for this week. If you're interested in playing in some Phobies tournaments where you can win some coffee, everything's set to level 1. Got to equalize things somehow. Hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The links, of course, are in the description. But that's going to do it for this time. As always, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.